The galaxy had grown complacent. For 1,000 years, the Grand Galactic Empire had basked in unchallenged dominance, their warships casting shadows over star systems, their leaders basking in self-assured arrogance. The galaxy had grown complacent. For 1,000 years, the Grand Galactic Empire had basked in unchallenged dominance, their warships casting shadows over star systems, their leaders basking in self-assured arrogance. Their fleets moved in flawless precision, their generals barking orders like gods, confident that no challenge could shatter their century-spanning peace. To them, humanity was an amusing footnote, a messy, disorganized species on a minor rock that wasn't even worth the trouble of wiping out. They assumed humans would quiver or plead. They assumed humans would surrender. They were wrong. Admiral Clark sat in the Human Defense Command Center, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth as the Empire's official declaration of war lit up the massive holoscreen. The Empire's tone was dripping with condescension, polished, arrogant, and utterly clueless. You, Earthlings, are beneath our notice. Your chaos is your weakness. Prepare to be extinguished. Clark leaned forward, fingers steepled, eyes glinting with mischief. Around him, the command room buzzed, but not with fear. With quiet confidence and casual chaos. Steve, the resident wildcard who once hacked an alien battleship using nothing but a meme template and a spreadsheet, chuckled while scrolling through intercepted alien chatter. They think this is some sort of joke. They don't get it, humans are chaos incarnate. Send them our reply, Clark ordered. A transmission zipped across light years, dripping with mocking humor. War? Bring it. We're ready. Popcorn's already on. The message was bold, absurd, and utterly human. The Empire's High Council exploded in confusion and outrage. Their smooth command structures faltered as diplomats scrambled for protocol books that didn't prepare them for this level of disrespect. Alien generals grumbled, unsure how to respond to a species that mocked their threats instead of trembling. Their arrogance, once impenetrable, began to crack. Back on Earth, Clark addressed his team with a grin. Operation Mayhem is a go. They think 1,000 years of peace makes them invincible? Let's show them what happens when you poke the bear, and it's got a sense of humor. A junior officer blinked. Sir, this will get messy. Messy is the new clean, Clark replied with a wink. The galaxy held its breath. The 1,000-year peace was over. The Empire had declared war. And humanity? Humanity just laughed. The moment the first alien warships crossed into human-controlled space, the battlefield transformed from an anticipated clash of titans into a chaotic spectacle of confusion and unexpected hilarity. The Galactic Empire's meticulously crafted formations, honed over a millennium, unraveled almost instantly. Their pride and discipline, once impenetrable, now seemed laughably fragile against humanity's unorthodox tactics. Admiral Clark watched from the command center as the first wave of Operation Mayhem unfolded. Instead of the expected volleys of destructive firepower, the aliens found themselves bombarded by an array of absurd holographic distractions. Swarms of drones projected looping videos of dancing cats wearing tiny space helmets, while massive holograms displayed endless streams of sarcastic memes and pop culture references right onto the enemy's sensors and viewports. Alien commanders barked orders to their crews, but the signals were drowned out by the relentless barrage of nonsense. Captain Jax, piloting a heavily modified freighter-turned-warship, grinned as he launched the meme missiles. These weren't your typical explosive projectiles. Upon detonation, they erupted in showers of flashing emojis and biting sarcastic taunts, overwhelming the enemy's sensor arrays and sowing panic in the ranks. Sensors glitching and communication lines overloaded, alien captains found themselves helpless to coordinate, their once precise attacks devolving into frantic, confused maneuvers. General Zoratha's flagship was one of the first casualties of human absurdity. Instead of incoming lasers, his crew's main viewports were flooded with continuous reruns of old human sitcoms, complete with laugh tracks and cheesy punchlines. The aliens could do nothing but stare in stunned disbelief as their disciplined formations dissolved into chaos. The usual rigid panic was replaced by wide-eyed confusion and a growing sense of disbelief. Some tried to rationalize it, others simply stared, dumbfounded. Meanwhile, back in the Galactic Empire's war councils, the scene was just as surreal. Alien diplomats and generals gathered to analyze human tactics, but the reports were baffling. Broadcasts intercepted by Steve, the human wildcard, were overlaid with sitcom catchphrases and sarcastic quips, turning once serious Imperial meetings into unwitting comedy shows. Ambassador Vrek exclaimed in frustration, "They fight with humor? This defies all logic. How do we even respond to this?" The Empire's attempts to adapt were slow and ineffective. Every countermeasure was met with an even more unpredictable human response. Humans deployed robotic disco balls that spun through space, disorienting enemy sensors. Entire fleets disguised themselves as gigantic floating rubber ducks, causing alien ships to hesitate and misfire. Holographic illusions turned Imperial vessels into bumbling toddlers fumbling through the void. Each tactic was funnier and more baffling than the last. Alien panic escalated, but it was never repetitive or generic. One commander panicked in denial, claiming it was a glitch in their systems. Another raged furiously, shouting orders that no one could hear over the noise of their own confused crews. The Empire's arrogance cracked, revealing fear and uncertainty in its place. Humanity's chaotic brilliance had stolen the upper hand, and it wasn't even close. Admiral Clark's voice cut through the chaos with a calm, mocking clarity over the comms. "Welcome to the new era of warfare. You bring your rules, and we'll bring the punchlines." His words became a rallying cry that echoed through every human ship, fueling their confidence and unbreakable spirit. As the battle raged on, the once proud Empire's forces continued to unravel under the relentless assault of humor, chaos, and clever tactics. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival, they were rewriting the rules of war itself, proving that laughter could be the deadliest weapon of all. The Galactic Empire's command center was rapidly descending into chaos. The once unshakable confidence of Emperor Kthar now flickered with cracks of frustration and disbelief. His hologram wavered as he barked orders that fell on deaf ears. His council's rigid structure was fracturing under the relentless assault of human absurdity. "How can these mortals wield chaos as a weapon?" Kthar demanded, voice trembling with anger. Around him, his generals argued bitterly, scrambling to adapt the tactics that defied all their centuries of training. Their perfectly synchronized battle plans had collapsed into disorder, replaced by a seemingly endless wave of madness. Meanwhile, humanity unveiled its secret psychological weapon, the Resonator. Unlike traditional weapons designed to destroy, this device targeted alien minds directly. As it powered up, it emitted complex pulses that infiltrated alien neural networks, triggering uncontrollable fits of laughter and disorientation throughout enemy fleets. Alien captains clutched their heads helplessly as waves of infectious mirth spread, rendering their commands ineffective. Steve, ever the cosmic prankster, hacked into Imperial communications with ease. He overlaid serious war broadcasts with human sitcom catchphrases and memes, turning the Empire's strategic meetings into involuntary comedy shows. Ambassador Vrel's face paled as he shouted in disbelief, "Our forces are incapacitated by laughter. This is an insult beyond defeat." As ships spun out of control and sensors glitched amid bursts of uncontrollable giggles, the Empire's prestige crumbled. Human tactics grew ever stranger but no less effective. Swarms of robotic disco balls spun through space, scrambling enemy sensors. Fleets disguised themselves as giant floating rubber ducks, causing alien pilots to hesitate and misfire. Holographic illusions transformed Imperial vessels into bumbling toddlers stumbling through the void. Entire sectors fell into human hands as the Empire's alliances fractured under the strain of their humiliating defeat. The stakes had never been higher. The Empire was no longer merely fighting a war of weapons, it was battling to maintain its sanity. Its pride shattered, leadership broken, the future uncertain. Humanity, calm yet chaotic, had seized the initiative, turning ridicule into a devastating weapon. The stage was set for the final showdown, where absurdity would prove mightier than brute force. The final battle unfolded not with the roar of weapons, but with a spectacle so absurd it could only have been crafted by humanity's finest minds. The Empire's last flagship, once the epitome of galactic dominance, now drifted helplessly amidst a surreal carnival of chaos. Gigantic rubber ducks floated mockingly around its hull, holographic disco balls spun hypnotically, and the resonator's relentless pulses kept the alien crew incapacitated by uncontrollable laughter. Captain Jax, commanding the lead human fleet, initiated Operation Dad Joke. Sonic waves carrying painfully corny one-liners rippled through space, jamming enemy sensors and leaving alien commanders utterly bewildered. "Why don't aliens visit Earth?" the transmission blared across the void. "Because they're afraid of running into us." The sheer absurdity shattered the Empire's last shred of morale. The battlefield had transformed into a cosmic circus. Human fighters weaved through enemy formations with casual grins, their maneuvers unpredictable and brilliant. The Empire's forces, battered and broken, scrambled in disarray. Pride shattered, shields down, their retreat was not just a defeat but a humiliating spectacle. Back on Earth, Admiral Clark took to the galactic broadcast, a confident smirk on his face. "To the so-called Galactic Empire, thanks for the war, but we prefer peace," with a side of laughter. "Remember, when humans say bring it on, we mean it. Now, go home and try not to trip on your own egos." The transmission ended with a perfectly timed mic drop echoing through star systems. The Empire's collapse was total. Their rigid command structure destroyed, their reputation in ruins, outmatched not by brute force but by humanity's wit and unbreakable spirit. The galaxy witnessed the rise of a new power, not through overwhelming weaponry, but through cleverness, humor, and confident chaos. And somewhere, far from the limelight, Steve chuckled quietly, already plotting humanity's next cosmic prank.